Okay, ACIP, public comment. Once in a while, the government entities allow the public to speak. They give them a few minutes, and they don't interact, they don't answer questions. They put a bar there, just like in court, to let you know you're peons. And these are parents questioning these vaccine mandates and vaccines. It's amazing.
Hello, I'm Sherry Gagnon, and I thank God for this opportunity. As I'm alarmed by how this committee makes decisions, this committee approved adding a hepatitis B formula with a new adjuvant to the infant schedule when questions were being satisfied with the answer of no data is available. This committee's lack of need for scientific evidence was reinforced with a statement while preclinical studies were not done using these vaccines simultaneously. Our general approach to immunizations is that they can be given at the same time in different limbs. That's reckless and the kind of scientific approach that no one should trust. Speaking with my elders has confirmed that this new sense of urgency to protect our community from vaccine-preventable diseases is an absolute falsehood. I had chickenpox in 9th grade. The school nurse confirmed it, sent me home with a smile, and there was no doctors, no primetime news report. Nobody was concerned about chickenpox in the 80s. The tone of my elders was also nonchalant as they spoke about their experiences and how their parents acted. And why did that tone change? Lack of sales?
There you go. Bingo.
I was highly cautioned that my kids must have the vaccine because chickenpox could cause meningitis leading to death. And now the Varivax insert, section 6.2, says post-marketing experience that meningitis caused by vaccine strain varicella virus has been reported in immunocompetent individuals previously vaccinated with Varivax months to years after vaccination. Well, that means the vaccine users are at risk for what they were trying to avoid and are putting other vaccine users at a higher risk. In February, I was gravely concerned about the proposed anthrax recommendation. My husband's a retired veteran, and he was required to receive multiple doses of the anthrax vaccine during his active duty years. And I did become speechless when the discussion became overly belabored on how to rephrase the booster recommendation. I do want to thank the committee member who persisted until the terminology for that anthrax vaccine designation was properly rewritten to read as a choice rather than a benefit-tied requirement.
Wow.
So I'll finish up with a couple of points. Really, the comprehensive national use of the ESP VAR system will provide all the data that's needed for the actual risk assessments. And the creating of fear in parents while the true risk of vaccine use is being suppressed is criminal.
Yes.
Ready to comment?
Well said. Criminal.
Next speaker will be Ms. Barrett.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for everything that you guys do. We appreciate, these meetings
awesome.
and being able to be here and see what you guys do. But please don't take what I'm about to say as rude. I am a mother of 4. I vaccinated my first. I didn't know of any of the risks. My doctor didn't tell me. I did what I was supposed to do. I trusted him. And my child was sick constantly. I didn't know what was wrong with him. I asked his doctor. He didn't know. It must be a virus. Let's just let it run its course. I started to ask some friends who also had children, and they would give me advice, do this, do that. One person asked me if I vaccinated. I said, of course I do. Why wouldn't I? And she said, no, go read an insert. Go look at the ingredients. And as soon as I did...
Read, you know what? The one thing, because there is no liability via our government, for the pharmaceutical industry on vaccines. All other medicines, yes, not vaccines. That are being mandated to our babies and children and babies on day one. Because of that, they actually put out inserts with all the disclosures of the testing that they've done. But there are no double-blind studies today on all the vaccines. There are 16 vaccines now mandated for children to the tune of like 76 doses versus a handful until the 80s. Yeah.
I knew in my heart I had to stop. I couldn't believe what I saw, and I still, to this day, I'm learning everything. Everything I learn is just mind-blowing. That
Yes, it is.
so many of these risks have been hidden, and we cannot allow that any longer. I know you guys see the discrepancies just in these
Yeah.
2-day meetings. I know
She's trying to implore this military arm of our government called the CDC, and it's under the, I guess, HHS, to look at the damaged children. Infant mortality in developed nations. In America, we are number one. Number one. That says something. Infant mortality is a gauge on how well your nation's doing overall on health. Number one, America is. And on day one birth in hospitals, babies are given 2 vaccines. Hepatitis B, that's for IV drug users and sexually active people, and it's good for 7 or 8 years, and it has aluminum, is given on day one to our infants. And parent, you don't sign for it as a parent. It's just automatically included if you are consenting to birth in the hospital. Day one. And along with that, vitamin K. Sounds good? It's with polysorbate, which means it allows substances to bypass the blood-brain barrier. So you got that Hep B with the aluminum going in with the vitamin K with the polysorbate on day one for infants. And America is number one in developed nations of infant mortality. And we have over 50% chronic disease in children. And the highest vaccine schedule. Europe, way less than us. And their people are way healthier.
you have seen things that make you question. We need things. I know you have seen things that make you question. We need you to question. We need you to speak up. We can't allow for...
She's kind of right. We don't need our government to tell us what is good for us. That's the problem.
fraud and lies to happen any longer. It's our children's lives. Yes, you know, vaccines may have done some good. The theory of vaccinating, you know, to be able to become immune to something is a good idea. But
yeah, and you know what? Naturally, God put that in our systems. It's called natural immunity. And with natural, like when you have a baby, most mothers breastfeed, they get natural immunity from the mother. She's imploring this agency to stop harming and killing our children. But we need to look at this a little differently. The government is not for our best interest.
and these vaccines are causing more issues than what they're supposed to be benefiting, we need to rethink about how we're immunizing our children, because our children are sick and we can't do this anymore. We have to do something different.
And back in the day, cod liver oil with vitamin D and vitamin A were given in the winter months for children, babies, children, and old people because it boosts the immune system. Vitamin C IV alone can cure a lot of people on the brink of death. There are so many alternatives that are natural and healthy, and with our, not technology, our advanced medicine can be so easily utilized, but that's not what's going on. And here sits a sort of empty place with the CDC sitting at the helm with this bar, don't cross the line, and it's a military arm of the government, and pharma is the lobbyists. People are imploring these government officials to listen, and they know damn well what is going on.
I just, we need to be heard, and we will not go away until something is done. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Our final speaker would be Edwin Barriero.
Good afternoon. My name is Edwin Barrero. I am not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV, but I have two 7-year-old injured grandchildren. You heard my daughter talk about them yesterday. I want to discuss something with you. You see my shirt? It says fake news. I want to share fake news with you. It's vaccines are safe and effective. I think as scientists sitting here, you know that that statement can't possibly be true. Why?
Thank you.
Because the U.S. Supreme Court ruled
Yes.
that vaccines are unavoidably unsafe.
Yes.
So they can't be totally safe. Now, I would change that to vaccines are relatively safe and effective. And I think you'd be okay with that. And I
No,
think
they're not relatively. And the key point these people are pointing out, this, unlike all other drugs that the pharmaceutical industry is held liable for, vaccines mandated. The CDC is tied in with the UN somehow, or if not, they are deemed the world's saviors for any epidemics. Wait, not epidemic. Any disease outbreak in the world, they go to that area and they source it and they find out what's causing it. For the whole world, it's a military arm. And they have it just no liability, none.
to be closer to the truth, but not quite there yet. Case in point, Vioxx. Has anyone heard of Vioxx?
Oh yes,
Vioxx was a drug that was introduced in
Killed more
1999 by Merck. Some other representatives are here, and you probably aware previous representatives. It was approved in 1999. It was
Wait, what's maddening about all this? I'm taping this right now because I just finally realized where these meetings come from. There is no question answer, period. The people sitting in front of him are military. They give these speakers 4 minutes, cut them off, cut the mic. You get to say your piece, and that's it. There's no give and take. There's no back and forth. There's no response.
taken off the market in 2004.
So other than the news covering these people talking, they're silent voices fighting for their children being killed, maimed, addled. Our American children being maimed, killed, addled. Chronic disease over 50% in children.
Why was it taken off the market? David Graham of the FDA said that Vioxx, in the 6 years that it was out in the wild, killed at least 60,000 people. 60,000 people. And I'm not going to go over the whole story because we know the story. The fact is that the proper studies were done on Vioxx, and Merck lied, and people died.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
the reason why I bring that up, and I know you're not dealing with drugs, you're dealing with vaccines. The reason why I bring that up is because
Vioxx
vaccines
was
are
tested
drugs.
more rigorously than any vaccine that Merck or any other company has created. People don't know this. Vaccines, drugs go through multiple inert placebo-controlled studies before coming to market. Saying otherwise is fake news. Dr. Teresa Dreiser said that none of these studies are done on vaccines.
These people here, they're counting on this staying closed and hidden from the public. This is maddening. Our soldiers receive probably as many vaccines today as our babies do, infants, or up to 5, the schedule of like 76, something like that, vaccines. All in like a very short time. They're damaged. Their immune systems are damaged. Babies are more vulnerable. But adults getting like 20 vaccines in a few months' time, yeah, it's going to take its toll. But they count on the fact this is appeasement. Let the people say their piece, put the rope there. Don't let the media hear or discourage it. Where's the news on this? Okay, these people, they're telling the truth here.
You know that none of the inert placebo double-blind studies are done on vaccines. You talk about them, the FDA approves them just like they approved Vioxx, but the studies have not been done. She said, and I hope that you have read some of what she said, she actually wrote a letter about the fact that legislators are out there trying to mandate these to everyone. That's what Susie talked about.
Okay, that's
before.
called genocide. When you mandate, that's what the Nazis did. That's the Nuremberg Code. Not the first one, the second one. When you mandate experiments on people and you force medicate, that goes against people's liberty. That's akin to taking away guns, self-defense, and worse.
The Merck MMR vaccine is manufactured using human fetal cell lines and are heavily contaminated with human fetal DNA from the production process. Levels in our children can be reached up to 5 nanograms per milliliter after vaccination, depending on the age, weight, and blood volume of the child. That level is known to activate toll-like receptors, receptor 9, which can cause autoimmune attacks. Still quoting, anyone who says that the fetal DNA contaminating our vaccines is harmless either does not know anything about immune and toll-like receptors or they are not telling the truth. Now, I know you guys know about toll-like receptors. If fetal DNA can trigger labor...
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Your time has expired.
15 seconds. If fetal DNA can trigger labor, a naturally desired autoimmune reaction, then those same levels in vaccines can trigger autoimmunity in a child. Fragmented fetal DNA contained in vaccines is similar size or 215 base pairs. This is direct biological evidence that fetal DNA contaminants in vaccines are not in low innocuous amounts. They are very strong pro-inflammatory triggers.
Yes.
Close quote. If this committee doesn't change its direction, we're likely to end up where we're headed.
As a
An
courtesy
autism rate
to
of 1 in
others,
2.
we ask that you please conclude your comment.
I will. Do you want history to remember you as the group who finally started looking
As
for
Nazis?
real answers? Or will you be known as
Nazi
the group
doctors.
whose strings were pulled by Big Pharma and destroyed many more lives that they saved? You have a choice. Thank you.
Yep.
you.
This is a start of this meeting.
For addressing the
They
committee
do this,
today.
I guess, regularly for appeasement because they know they have to.
All the speakers today submitted a request in advance of the meeting, and a final list of the public commenters was determined by lottery. For the speakers, please limit your comments to a 3-minute period. It's very important that you do so that other commenters have time to make their statements. We will be displaying the time on the screen so that you know how much time is left in your session. Public input and engagement is vital to the ACIP's work, and we appreciate your presence here today and look forward to the comments. I will let you know when Your time has expired at 3 minutes by saying thank you for your comment. Your time has expired. 30 seconds later, if you are still speaking, I will let you know by saying, as a courtesy to other speakers, we ask that you conclude your comment. And then at 4 minutes, I will ask that the microphone be silenced, and I will let you know that your time is ended by saying your comment time is ended. Thank you. So,
See, that's their cover. That is their cover. This is our CDC. Right there.
begin with our first speaker, who is Miss Karen Ernst.
Okay. The politics of vaccine health, vaccine mandates, tyranny, medical tyranny upon us can be seen right here. And look into the pharmaceutical industry. They are paying off our government. How else could they get away with this? Where all medicine, all pharmaceuticals are liable for injury and death, but not vaccines. Because the CDC is the power of the world to go out and prevent communicable disease. That's it. Any communicable disease in the world, they are the authority to go out there and prevent under their guise. These are the people